Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday Nighter Round 4 for the month of June. I am Michael Perry, and I am pleased to be joined by International Master Nubair.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michael.
Upcoming at the council this weekend, we have the Battle of Monmouth Tornado. Interesting name there. It is 4 rounds of game 30 plus 30, and you can see first round is at 10 as usual, and the last round is at 5:30. The TD for that one is Joshua Rajadari. And yeah, you can see all the details just on the castle website. And obviously, this is the last the last match for the month. So I'll give a quick update on the standings. We currently have in the Premier section Andrew Titus on a perfect score, only player to have that so far, 3 out of 3. But he's being closely trailed by National Master Kyler Weatherspoon, and then Connor Weatherly and Ethan Hunt all at 2.5. And then Nathan Hoover is the only player at 2, but pretty much going to have to be at 2.5 to win this Thursday Nighter. And then for the Open, we have 2 players on a perfect score. That's Eric Gollin and Kevin Landman. Pretty kind of titans for the Open section. They're quite good. Sometimes they can play in the Premier. And then we have 1 player on 2.5, and that's Aditya Kasharwani. And that person's 1372. So they're definitely having a very, very good month. So kind of interesting if we can see their game. But that's about it on my end, and I'll send it over to Nubair.
All right. Thank you so much for the updates. So this makes us interesting to start from board 1, as Titus will try to score 100% and win the 4th game, while Kyler will try to win this game to claim the first spot. So it starts with e4, and we have typical Roy Lopez on board 1, a6, bishop a4, knight e7. And now this is the first interesting move, deviating from the main lines and going into something like b5 or knight g6 in the future. Sometimes they also play this kind of setup these days. It's getting very, very popular. d3, and this is how usually white reacts for moves like knight f6 and something. But in this, if white reacts like this, okay, black gets something interesting to play on. As a result, white goes h4, because if he plays castle, maybe black is fine after bishop e7. There is no more h4. And he decides to do something here. He wants to play h5, take on c6 probably, and win a pawn. h5. So it prevents h5, but at the same time creates a weakness. So now the position is double h, or with weaknesses, let's say. Have you come across something like this before, Michael?
No, this is interesting, this knight e7, knight g6 idea.
Bishop g7, probably g3, d5. And Titus goes very, very active. He wants to put bishop on g4 in future, because now the weaknesses are obvious with this pawn going forward, and white cannot make much out of it. Also, the knight is not coming to c3, so it is going to be some problem for white. White goes queen d2, probably knight d2 next. Bishop e6 now. Instead of bishop, yeah.
Sorry, but it's interesting that, black is just as much caught up in development as white, even though he had to move his knight twice. So I think black's doing quite well already.
Yes, but I'm surprised by next move of Titus. He plays bishop to e6 instead of bishop to g4. Like, I can see we can take, and some problems here. Or if white plays like knight d2, maybe queen gets developed and we can castle. But I would definitely would love to put bishop over here instead of e6. So maybe some concession from Titus, and this gives white some chances to go knight g5. Knight g5 played. Probably he was not sure about. Okay, knight d2 is of course there, but maybe he needs to do something like queen e3 at some point, and this. But still, you can always go bishop e6, and for sure, I mean, knight on s2 is not better than, cannot be better than knight on g5. So, I mean, I don't know why not bishop g4, but it was very obvious. Bishop goes back to c1. This still looks good for black. But let's see. Mm, White has pair of bishops. So the threat was to take the pawn and win some material here. So he goes back to c2, defending d3. At 5, very, very active, very, very attacking. Not sure about this, though he's trying to put some pressure on c5. Uh-uh. So what to do here? I think this is not so good capture. Probably you just play castle here, or as you have pair of bishops, you try to open up the position a bit and maybe go castles. And okay, we just hang around like this. And rook e1, let's say, and f3. And probably this is how you play this position.
Yeah, I prefer this too. Taking on d5 just seems to help black's pieces.
Yeah. And and Kyler would have got like slightly better position, I would say, because the knight is little dumb here on g6, not doing much. With bishop on g5 also restricts 97. I mean, if he wants, he can take or ignore. And the e4 looks suspicious. So the knight is little awkward there. Also, this is hanging, so you cannot move the rook. And anyway, if you have to play bishop g4, then you're helping white by playing f3. And again, then the knight would be under some attack. Also, it's possible to kick the bishop and then go d4. So, like, for sure, white would have got better position if ef5, but e5 changes everything. Now the bishop has got lots of work. If you play castle, then you are creating a long-term weakness on the diagonal. F4 might come someday. Not now, immediately, of course, knight c5, but you're just creating so many weaknesses. G1, a5, and now look at this. So Titus understands that his position is not so great, but still doable if he gets something like a5, a4, a3. So now you cannot play long castle. There's a4, knight d2, a3, and like still playable. Like you can play if you want to play anything, but the weaknesses are so much. Like queen c5, c4, knight d4, and also probably this pawn was hanging in some lines. But okay, that's not shouldn't be a problem. With some tactics like simply bishop c2 back, and okay, we can trap the bishop as well as win some material here. So probably a3 will be the threat, but white got scared and white reacted with a4, and now Titus found a very good combination. So guys, if you're here playing with the black pieces, give yourself 2 minutes and let's see if you can spot the tactic. Black to play and find a tactic.
Hmm. I might
Did
have
you get
seen
it?
it. I'm wondering, is it like bishop? Can I say it?
Yeah. You can try.
I I'm wondering if it's bishop b3, and knight d4.
Okay, and if I take knight,
Yeah, and then queen b4 to fork
that's
the.
perfect. You just try the structure and you're going for some counterplay in the center, trying to open up the lines. And if I take rook e8 and the king is struck, you cannot play short as well as long castle. So that's like a way to go forward.
Yeah.
So bishop b3 was played. Of course, bishop takes b3 back. Knight d4. And how much time it took for it? It took 5 minutes roughly. Knight d4. e4, sorry, cd4 couldn't be for check, king f1. And okay, now he finds a way to go here because going here or being here is terrible. And now he gets a pawn. But okay, of course, he can start with rook e8. f4 and then capture on d3, or it is also possible to start with rook d3 or something like this.
Hmm.
Because rook d3 makes sense, because I wanted to provoke this, so that king g2 is never possible and you can just chop those all the pawns. Now what could happen is, this is possible and you could get away with king to safety and lose this pawn, and maybe that is fine. But if f4, then the king would have been in more trouble. But still, here I can see there's a queen d5 check, and this knight d5, knight g4, knight f3 is very, very annoying. I mean, you can go to h3, but it's not as safe as um, h1 or g1.
Hmm.
So, so Kaiser is thinking here. I guess this is the live position on the board.
Yeah, it's technically material still even, but like you hinted at, that e5 pawn's going to be pretty tough to hold. And if you try to hold it by moving your f pawn, you're just going to weaken everything else.
So I guess it's very difficult to move here.
Yeah.
Even this pawn is weak, but maybe we can try to bring the rook to the open file. And I don't know what to do after 25. Maybe some e6. I mean, if you're going to lose the pawn, better to push and lose it.
Hmm.
At least give some threats.
Yeah.
But okay, before probably you need to bring the rook to the open file to have something over here. Because you cannot win this game or hope to survive with this kind of rooks. Like you can play king g2 if you like, queen here, king h3, knight e5, and then also try to play like rook d1 and somehow try to play that end game or try to survive. Also possible like king g2, queen check, king h3. I hope I'm not missing like f4 or something, which is fine, I guess. But my plan was like, just try to play rook c1 at some point. Okay, rook d1 is also there, but some kind of this move, and okay, I want to put my bishop on f4 and somehow trade pieces here
Hmm.
by putting some pressure on c7.
Yeah. Kyler will probably have to realize that he has to just give away the pawn for counterplay.
Mhm. But again, it's up to like black to take this pawn or not. Like the knight is doing well. As I said, he can also play something like f4 right away, or even king g2 f4. And it could be quite annoying. Like, for example, player like Titus, who's tactically very, very good. He might be something like this, and he's starting f3. Okay, you go here, he takes, and I can put some pressure on this pawn. You can never move your rook. You want to play rook d1, but the f3 threat is very, very annoying. And queen e4, we have to calculate this line or something like this even at times. The knight is weak, but we need to check it out whether it's working or it's winning for. Probably it's possible to take this. Because after this, I don't see a clear continuation, but still, there's a rook f8.
Maybe we can play
Looks,
queen f5 and queen f2.
yeah, that's perfect. This check is a savior. Yeah, this saves the day. The check saves the day. Maybe something like this. So maybe he has to give a check first, and then probably a full or something like this. But then you get chance to play rook d1 because now f3 is not a check, and you can hope to survive by playing something like this. Okay, I see this 95, but you have simply bishop f4, and life is good. So probably we'll see king g2 here in the game, or either rook c1. Depends upon the choice of giving the pawn or getting king to safety or trying to generate threats. I believe these are the candidate moves here. With king to g2, rook to c1, and pawn to e6. Can we add
Hmm.
something else?
Um, I don't think so. Those are the moves that come to my mind too.
Okay. So until Kyle replaced, like he has got lots of time, 40 minutes each roughly. So let's jump to other live board where we have Thomas Babcock playing against Eddie on board 5, I guess.
Mhm.
And this plays on how many points? Any idea?
They're lower down in the standings because I didn't see them at the top.
Okay. And we have a Caro-Kann here with the exchange variation, or if they play e6, it is called the Pano-Botunic attack. But g6, another way to play the same position, or it could also be like you can also say it's a reverse Tarash or Catalan kind of positions where you try to put your bishop here, but a tempo down. So white gets a chance to put queen b3 or something more concrete like cd5, bishop c4 lines. Okay, Edie says, okay, I don't care, you know, you want to take it, you take it, you want to take the pawn, you want to take the knight, just take it and have your weakness. It's arguable how good it is, but in my opinion, white needs to take it. Like one of the ways is you take down d5, let's say simply, because you don't want to really take the knight, because then the d4 would be hanging in many lines. Okay, right now it doesn't hang, like there's a trap, bishop d4, queen a4, and you lose the bishop. But in long term, let's say he take, and you play castle, and now this would be hanging. So you play knight f3, then bishop g4, let's say in some lines. Okay, take, there's a knight d7 and some compensation, or take and take. Like this also possible, or maybe something like b6, bishop b7, or knight d7, knight b6. And okay, this pawn would be hanging in long run because the bishop is open. So the ideal way to deal with this kind of moves is you take the pawn, because if you play queen b3 and give a threat to win a pawn, and if your opponent does not defend it, you should capture it. Like this is how the practical chess works, at least. So white must take, and after castle, there's a way called bishop e to bishop f3, and this is how you defend this pawn. Like your opponent can play a6 b5 or knight d7 knight b6, let's say like this, and defend the pawn by putting bishop to f3. It's little different, little unusual, but this is how you can defend the pawn if your opponent ignores your threats.
Hmm.
Mm. And this gives good positions to white at times, and many times black just needs to sacrifice a pawn or something to get some activity in return. And okay, black gets some counterplay, of course, and white keeps the extra pawn.
Have you ever
And
had
this is
a position from this opening in a classical game?
yes. So as I play Caro-Kann, I have got this kind of positions. Um, Not exactly the same, but there are lines in which I'll tell you the move order. So e4, c6, and there are people who play c4.
Hmm.
And of course, this is considered not so great, just like the Scandi e4, d5, you don't capture directly, you play knight f6 first. And then there are kind of people who can play bishop b5 or queen f4 check. So what happens after this is, of course, you don't blunder like this. So you have to go knight d7 or bishop d7 either. And then they can play knight c3 and let's say g6. And the pawn remains here. And sometimes like this, or sometimes just like this. And you get this kind of positions with d4 coming in. But later knight b6 and the pawn drops. So of course, this is a better version because the queen is going to a4 and then coming back to b3. And if you go now bishop e2, then again it's not so great, I believe, because I mean the coordination is little awkward. Like for example, let's say you play like this and there's knight e5, and you don't get time to play
Yeah.
d4. And if you play d4, then probably this, and like this is comparatively better version. Like you play bishop g4 even here, and you cannot really develop. You play s3, you lose d5, and now both are under attack. You defend one, you lose another one, and you get an isolated queen pawn. So, and this kind of positions, this is not so great because the queen, you're giving this unnecessary check. So that doesn't work that well. And there's also one more way, or one line in Grunfeld, that this kind of positions come. So how exactly it is? So in Grunfeld also it could come d5, not in the main lines. Like, so we have this Russian systems. In this it could come, or there are also some side lines with bishop f4 and bishop g7, e3, castle, queen b3. So in even in this kind of lines, for example, c5 here, and we could get something like this. And I think I have played this at some point in my life, probably against Puranic, and I had got a winning position. But okay, of course, black has some counterplay here as well. It is similar to what we were checking out in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and now in this line, now the bishop is little stupid on f4. Like, we don't know what the bishop is doing. But sometime it could be useful to get this bishop e5, for example, you can just dump the bishop over here and get away with this. Or sometimes you can also play d6. And for example, you can give a positional sacrifice. If you take, okay, you get a pawn. Or if they take, okay, of course not this because it's a check. And sometimes you can get away with this. So now with pawn here and pawn here, there's a difference. So this kind of positions are also slightly, like very little, better for white because of this pawn on d6 and this pawn knight on b6. Ideally, the pawn on d5 knight on c6, black is fine, absolutely great. But with pawn on d6, the bishop has some target and some meaning.
Yeah.
So this kind of moves are possible in this kind of setups. So this kind of structure could come from like various openings, as we could see, from Kargan, from this kind of positions, some kind of a Taraj or reverse positions from Catalan, some kind of a Grunfelds or Russian system lines, uh, and even this variation. And white does not take here. Probably that's the reason, but he should have taken. Like, if you don't take, then I mean, black will take someday, and you will just be left with isolated pawn. So he takes it. Okay, this is not good. It would have planned a6 b5 or b6 bishop b7 or knight d7 knight b6. Queen b6, bishop c4, and I believe black is absolutely down upon. Even take is absolutely fine because now there is no bishop b7 in future, there is no knight b6 in future. And I forgot to tell the story with my games against Jubava. So
Mm.
Jubava used to play a lot. Like in the pandemic, we have played like, I don't know, 10 games in a row, 15 games in a row, multiple times, and we have got this kind of positions.
Well,
Because he plays some sidelines when he's playing off, like online chess, typical with Jubava or any top tier. And we have got multiple positions like this with lots of interesting game with me streaming. So AD finds a new plan to put knight on c7, but again, as I said, you put bishop on f4 and it's nothing. Like, you could do this and just put bishop on e5, and the extra advantage is after f6 you even have something like d6 and some tricks there. Okay, there's an e6 here at the moment, and probably it works out in the favor of black because then the pawn would drop after take and rook d8. Still there's knight b5, and it's arguable, like, also there are moves like chief. Okay, not here maybe, but at some point later in the game is possible. Knight e4 is also possible. Knight b5 is a move there. You have to play bishop f8, and probably now white is gonna drop the pawn. So maybe that's the reason why he didn't opt for bishop f4. But still bishop f4 I like, because sending this knight to the corner is the best thing you can have. And okay, now you play bishop g5 and f6. We just come back. Later you are playing d6 if needed. And the knight is a little awkward.
yeah.
I don't get this. Like, if you want, I can even kick the knight.
Yeah. That's odd.
Probably Probably okay. AD, I understood now. So AD wanted to play rook d8 here, like a3, rook d8, and he was hoping that he'll get the pawn. But still, there's a bishop g5, and okay, maybe he can get away with this. So bishop g5 was played in advance. Now he's threatening a3, and the rook d8 will fail after fails to bishop f6 takes and a3. So quite tactical. Things are getting tactical. Bishop f5. Yeah, this is also a typical idea to exploit the d3 square and c2 squares. Yeah, he's playing well. He needs to play this, but maybe he is not sure after knight d3. And
Mm-hmm.
usually the typical tactic is this, but the problem now here is the c3 is already hanging. Imagine if the c3 is not hanging, you can hope to trap the knight with queen here. I mean, some pieces there, and you control this square, and even if the king is here, you can try to get it. But with this active rook, now things are in favor of black, and that is why we see this awkward move ab4, rook c4, and now I don't like this for white. The structure is just beyond repair.
Yeah.
Well, there could be a small tactic. For example, okay, let's just play a waiting move just to tell viewers. Before there could be d6, and you're threatening this. You think that you're winning something, or and you might lose like this.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, oops. So that's the only thing I could see for white at the moment. But apart from that, I don't see anything. Maybe you can play d6 and hope for same and try to simplify or try to get rook a7. Rook a7 maybe, yeah, maybe rook a7 is not that bad. And okay, you hope for the same idea. With this pawn being weak, even for rook e8, we can start with this, and this would be hanging again. So there is some life. There are some tricks. It is not
Yeah.
that bad tactically. The structure-wise, it's beyond repair. He goes b5 at 6. Like, can we do this? Probably black is doing well. So Thomas comes back. And yeah, this is the exactly position we need to avoid as white because now 95 and he will start chopping every single pawn. And also we don't have our favorite d6 with bishop f4. So he goes rook a7 and yeah, I was talking about the same thing. Okay, you don't really want to go bishop c8. You can go bishop c8 probably, but as a human being, you don't want to do or go that passive because 95 would come then. And that's not good. So let's just see the obvious move. 95. You take, I take. You take on b7. Watch out, there's no rook e8. King s7 is there. So this h6 is important. And now these 2 pawns are hanging. So probably rook b5. You take on e7. And you take on b2. And we have a pass pawn for black. So Michael will be back soon, guys. Yeah, welcome back. So
Was that just me? I think that's just me. Or did you disappear too?
I think only you disappeared.
Okay, yeah, I
At
think
least that's what I can see on the stream on YouTube.
that's my bad. I was scrolling, like when you're scrolling up on the sidebar, I accidentally hit the X and it just closed out the tab completely.
It's okay. Uh, we didn't have any moves here, so no action yet. Only analysis, guys. So probably we might see this. We have this position. We might see AD playing knight d5. He's down to 400 minutes. He's taking his time as usual. So everything is fine. And we have one more live game going on in the open section with Srijan. Are you sure this is open section? Playing
It's
against the
between. This would probably be the bottom, so open. I can check, but this probably is open.
Yeah. But his okay. So Dipankar Ghosh is black here, and white is Srijan, who's a regular player. So it is Alapin Sicilian. Mm. Can you help with the points of the player so that we can understand a little bit about the standings and who's playing for what?
Yeah, so they actually are the premier, but so Sweejan is so 1730 and Dipankar is 1869 and he did draw National Master Jordan earlier in the event, but they're both at just half a point out of 3 games, so they're struggling a bit in the tough field.
Okay, so this match is for it is for. I think this is a more important match because both the players are fighting for their first win.
Yeah,
They want to, they're still they're hungry for getting their first win. And as I said again, the structure is gone. Like 3 guys in 3 different directions. And I like black already. Just good position. Like the structure is damaged. Ah, what is this? I mean, you cannot play moves like this. I mean, come on. You can play
yeah,
castles. You can play e6. I just play e6, man. Just play bishop e7. If you're scared about knight g5, and if you're not sure about bishop e8, and if you can survive with like this, and if you're worried about like this, I mean, you can take here, of course. But I'm just saying, in case if you're worried about things like this, just play e6, bishop e7, guys. Don't trouble by playing h6. Like this is absolutely unnecessary. And also, like he was threatening knight e5 here, so probably even it is possible to play a6 here in some lines. Like you go back, we have knight e5 tactic, and it works. Like so, you take here, you take back. You are losing b7, but okay, you get e6, and also knight e5. I saw one line like you take, and just play f6. You get e5 or bishop c6. You have some threats, and life
yeah,
is not that bad. Probably rook b4 you have to play here, bishop b5, a4 e6, and probably after lots of hard work you get the bishop, and still it could be worse because of the structural defect. Anyways, going back to the game, h6 was played because uh, black didn't want this knight to come to g5 at any point in the game, and then he's playing a6 b5 and simply allowing white to trade off its last witness. Now, clearly, white is better. All this pieces coming around. Even h3 takes and rook b7 is an idea here. Like the pieces are very, very big.
mm-hmm.
I mean, just now things, started getting settled for black, and black goes g5. Absolutely unnecessary. I can understand he wants to put some pressure on e5 pawn and get g4, but I don't like this bishop coming in. Okay, now it's slightly better, but still, I don't know. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Even for this, you have this. Bishop e4 is there as well.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Rook b4 would come.
This is like almost game over.
Yeah. So he finds the way. He has his own way of dealing things. He goes back. He plays a6. He plays b6. Then he pushes the pawns. Then he finds the only defense. This game is quite interesting, and he's burning his time, right, to find all this. No matter how good or bad it is, but he's burning time to save himself. And he's losing the b4 pawn. And then I don't know what he's gonna do after this. Probably this, but then this is not hanging luckily yet. And he's thinking. He's thinking already. I hope he doesn't blunder into this. But probably this is the only thing you could do, and knight d4, this bishop d5. But even this, yeah, this is
Mm,
terrible.
yeah.
It is just disaster, man. It's just disaster. Even this is coming. This is coming. What is the most beautiful checkmate here? Probably this. And you go rook b6, you capture, you give this check, and you get the king. Or even rook b5 is a beautiful way to hunt the king. And you just get the king down. Something like this. Okay, we also have this, but just in case. So from c to, this would be nice. You go king e8, king here, and then like this.
Yeah, this isn't Racing Kings, so black doesn't win. Have you ever played Racing Kings, New Bear?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In Pandemic, I explored every single variant.
I played it a little bit and I hate it. It's one of my least favorite variants. I don't understand it.
It was just for the audience, just for some fun, but while streaming, but not really in general. Yeah, I never played it like off the broadcast probably
Yeah.
because it makes no sense. King of the Hill, okay, it's slightly more interesting.
Hmm.
You get your king from e1 to e4 and you win the game. That no castling chess is interesting. Of course, Bug House, Crazy House is there, but Racing King, guys, no. I mean, the purpose is not to get your king to the 8th rank. The purpose of the game is to get the pawns to the 8th rank. Suddenly you say to get the king to the 8th rank, and it looks, it is just crazy. I mean, okay, so this looks like 1-0 to me. So let's go back to AD or Andrew Scheitus. So knight d5 was played by AD, and now the moves are quite easy for black to make. So I believe the lesser time on the clock would not be a so big factor here. And we do have the position which we discussed. So let's go back and see what exactly or which move order they followed. So white went king g2 right away. The check was given and king h3. So Kaiser finds his king much safer on h3. And the point is f4, you have got rook d1. But wait a second, I found one idea. Okay, maybe it's not so great. f3 and the check king h2 is there. So let's say you play f4, rook d1. And now, okay, for this we have e6. So you have to do this check. Of course, this is a blunder. So you have to play this. And now you take, and you have knight e5. The point is, after this, you lose a queen.
Yeah. Hmm.
If Titus finds this, he's gonna win this on the spot.
Yeah.
If not, then uh, I don't know now what to do as a white. Like this is very, very annoying. It's super annoying. This check is super annoying. So, but in the game, we found he took on e5 instead of going for f4. Logical, you get a pawn. And maybe now also it's threatening f4 because after bishop f4, you still have the same tactic. But okay, now you can play king g2. And that's the difference. That makes a big difference actually. And you're not losing. So probably rook d1 was possible here and simpler. But I don't understand why on earth you go rook h3. Like you want to exchange rook, but why to double or harm those pawns? What was wrong with rook d1?
Yeah, that seems like the most direct way to deal with all the pressure.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I can't see what
High
he would have
chess
been.
well.
I can't see what he would have been scared about. So
Mhm. Probably just scared of tactical blows by Titus. Maybe. I don't know. But okay, this is also not there. Yeah.
He's probably,
So I don't know.
if I had to guess, he's scared about the pin on the third rank still. So he's hoping that if he plays Rook A3, he's counteracts that a little bit more. But
Yeah. We have the chessboard 64 in the chat. So hello. If you have any questions, something. If you guys are watching, just say hi and let us know where are you from.
that's actually me. I was trying to get the chat riled up.
Okay. But we have got 8 people watching this live.
Yeah,
Let's start,
we
guys.
need more
Start high.
commenters.
Let's get this going. Uh, but okay, it's still, if you survive to the end game, will have still little hopes, tiny hopes to save this as your bishop and active king playing a racing king. So let's see if Titus could get 4 of 4 or he walks away with 3.5. I believe he'll get 4.
Yeah,
Hi,
I
the
would hope.
Rodney.
Jordan's in the
I hope.
chat. Looks like his
Mhm.
game is done. Maybe we should take a look at that one on board 3, Nathan versus Jordan.
Perfect. Why not? So Jordan has played a game in the finals against Nathan Hoover, and he has won it. Let's go move by move. So it was d4, d5, knight c3, and if you place bishop f4 or something, it's called Jubaba London. f3, e4 is typical. g4 is also when you cannot get e4, and you just hang around like this. h4, h6, h5, both moves are possible in my opinion. Black needs to play h5, otherwise white is just having or white is just enjoying the space advantage. And yeah, that's why I said like you need to take this. Even sometimes this is possible, and you have the complete center control. Still, black is fine. It's not like the end of the world. You have knight d7, e5, c5 breaks at some point. And now e5 was needed. Yes, it's split. It takes. Oh, this comes in time. And the queen will come inside, but the knight of 6 is there. So e4 just playing positionally. I like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what now. You play castle, this e5 is annoying. Take on d5, queen f5 is annoying. Takes. Ah, this is not good. You cannot keep
No.
your king like this. As I said, this is coming, and now everything will drop sooner. I mean, one by one, like rook e5, you just double. There'll be queen f4, there'll be rook e8 threat. There will be something coming up every single move now,
Hmm.
just because of the bad king. So he loses the d5 first, and black is hoping for some tactical ideas, and if he could survive this, but no, knight f4, and as I said, something tactical will come every move. Right now, okay, there's this, and this, so you escape for the moment, but it's just a matter of a time. Like even rook e4, for example, and okay, probably queen d6 and queen. Okay, sorry, rook e4 the blunder. My bad. I'm so sorry. But yeah, at some point, this would come. Something like this would come. Now c3 is planned, and yeah, we can see the tactic already. So 25 rook e8, and it's not good. When we fine, and knight is feeling awkward here. Rook g2. So now this is some serious business. What's
Yeah.
happening? Like e8, rook e8, rook e8, queen e8, king g7. I can see that this is getting disaster. But
Oh,
wait a
wait.
second. Take stakes,
Yeah,
you
do we
have
want
knight
a
f4
rook?
check, and you get checkmated probably, yeah, because knight f4 is there. And if you play this, then this is hanging. So this is just gone tactically. Forced, you go h8. But how do you win this? Like b2 is hanging. So check here. The third piece attack is not really coming. Or is it coming? So king f4, queen here. King g5, queen g7 probably. Okay, 94 on my bad. So, and okay, the queen is lost. Oh shit. So well done, well calculated by Tim Jordan. Well done. Good calculation. And probably Nathan missed some of this. Probably 94 coming at the end. And had to resign.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So if you go back to the critical moments, of course, Jordan played very good, and probably h5 was needed, or things didn't go well here. Maybe he needs to go back. But again, it's not so great. Like you can play like this, take, and knight back. Rook h8, you have got castle in time, but the queen h7 comes suddenly, and you lose material. And anyway, you end up losing. So he tried e5 because he was not in time, as probably h5, probably not. I think it was a good game from Jordan for sure. Quite clinical and tactically also good. So yeah, well played.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Titus, he's trying to exchange queens and go into the end game.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess he's up a pawn, has better structure.
Yeah. We have guys 10 people watching, so if you like the content, do like the stream and help us reach more people.
Yes, definitely. Should we take a look at board number 2 between Connor and Ethan? Look like that game's over.
Perfect, why not? So both of them were playing 2.5 points, Ethan Hunt and Connor Weatherly. Hunting probably for the second period place, or if okay, and Andrew loses, okay, maybe trying first or something. So Ethan Hunt has for sure secured second place at least by winning this. And Connor was playing very, very solid. The Petrov. And wait a second, so d4. This is how they played this? How do
Yeah, I've
this is
never
not the
played
most
this line from either position.
yeah, this is little weird, but still understandable. The tactics here. But black plays very, very artificial. Like you don't do this, you don't do this, man.
No.
You don't do this in chess. If Robert would have been playing here, he would have played b4 or something. But okay, we don't have Robert here yet. So we have a3. And these are normal people play, chess. They play a3, they play b4. But Robert, if he's a Robert, he'll play b4 and then he'll say, okay, let's see what happens next.
Yeah.
And now normal people play bishop b2 and capture on d4. But if you can calculate c4 and see that you're winning a piece, go ahead, guys. Go ahead. No worries. Come on, from d8 to a7, like, I mean, without developing the bishop. If we give this position to some people and ask them to get this position in 16 moves as black, they'll struggle.
It's kind of
You know,
funny.
to navigate here, yeah. So we have point A, the starting position, and we have this position where, in like 11 moves or so, we need to get this position. People just really struggle to, get this position to solve this puzzle. I mean,
It's about to get worse for black.
it's just gone. I mean, even if you play this, probably it's lost. and knight g5 and queen f3. Queen b3 is also there. Like there are 200 million ways to win this. You play queen b3, you win. You play knight g5, you win. Probably you take, you also win.
Maybe
And
Connor's playing too quickly because he's only used 3 minutes.
yeah, it's like what? I mean, what is doing? I mean, and he played b6 here. He's not even preventing. Like he's not even preventing the threats. He's not even trying to. I don't know how to prevent it, but it's just gone. Like at least play
Yeah,
b5, man. If you wanna play something, play b5. What is b6? He really thought he can defend like this. Come on, seriously. Oh wow. I was just wondering what it's gonna do for this. Like,
yeah.
there's a queen
Maybe.
h5 coming up next. Knight d. I mean, everything is just checkmate.
Hmm.
He was this, and Ethan finds a way to win a piece like this.
That's
Fine,
pretty.
fair enough. Yeah, but checkmate would have ended the game. Okay, and now he plays the end game to win this. That is also fine as long as you are. Come on, develop your knight, man. Develop your knight. It's high time. Develop your knight. Okay, so lots of positional and tactical blunders by Connor. I don't know. Maybe he was in rush. He wanted to finish the game in 10 minutes or so. He played very fast and got checkmated, and he played in the end. So he was not in rush probably. I don't know what he wanted to do today, but
Yeah, a bit odd.
this is not how you play guys chess from black side when you are on 2.5 out of 3, for sure. I mean, I don't know what happened after d4, but what I know is people can play like this and they play d5 or d6, d5 next more light, for example. And it's possible to play like this. But if you play some kind of a e4 and 27 stuff, I mean, you can still play knight e4 and get d5, but it's queen going to c5 and this artificial play is was probably the reason to disaster, which led to the disaster for black. So yeah, and Ethan took advantage of all the mistakes which black made. So we saw this. We saw Ethan, then Jordan, who played very very well. We have
Whoa.
another game on board 4, which was played between Toffee versus David.
And both these players are about, I think David's 1800s. Torfy, I think, is maybe high 1800s right now. He's been above 1900 before. So they're solid
Mhm.
players. So I'm curious to see how Black got checkmated in the middle of the board on move 25.
And that too in field defense. G4, yeah. So I remember this line exists, but how good it is, we'll see today. So rook G1. The idea is not to get black bishop E7 and get some quick activity. And of course, we are aiming for knight G5 here, so H6. And okay, white is just trying to attack. And maybe someday, if he's feeling lucky, he'll capture. Not yet, not yet. Okay. A5. From where do you get this kind of confidence? I mean, you could play bishop e7, try to go long castle. You could play bishop e7, try to go short castle. Okay, I know the pawn is hanging, but still, to try to do something, how you can play a5? And now no e3, guys, of course, a4. And as I said, this will come one day. Not sure how correct it is here. You could simply play like this and win the game. Wait a sec, what I'm missing here?
Yeah, I don't know
Am
why
I
you
missing
can't
something
take.
very obvious? I mean, you can go back to e8, right? Even e7, I don't see any serious problem yet. Maybe he was worried about this and he thought bishop e7, rook into g7 will probably checkmate him. But I don't understand still how, because there's knight f8 at least. And
Maybe he's also
probably black is.
worried that if the queen, maybe he's also worried
Oh,
that if
sorry.
the queen stayed on c4, yeah, there's checkmate. That like knight b5 at some point was a problem.
Yeah, but
Earlier.
still, I don't believe it will be like checkmateable because I have got all the pieces to defend my king.
Oh wait, knight
So
b5 actually does work right here.
knight b5 works if you take, yeah.
Yeah,
But if you don't
yeah.
take, if you
Wait,
ignore, let's say
actually,
queen b7,
yeah, queen b7.
and if you can work out this properly, you win.
Knight e5 takes
Probably
b5.
this one's,
Yeah,
yeah, just play positionally and yeah, try to win. Or even we have this 95, which is very, very nice. But I didn't play this in the beginning because I missed bishop b6. But now, after seeing this, of course, yes. So probably that was the reason. But wait a sec, we still have this move, right? I mean, it can't be so bad. I mean, what to do after this? Like, if you don't go to e8, we just say, okay, I don't care, about chess blocking my bishop. I just go here. What do you do?
yeah.
Knight b5, probably queen b7, and bishop c5, something to be worried about. And probably the problem is you take king f7, and now not knight e5, but probably queen c4 back. Because knight e5 thought he escapes with king h7. So probably after king f7, you go again this check. And now things are completely different because bishop c4, you give a check. And we have knight g6, knight h8, check, and you win the game.
Huh.
So after bishop a6, knight e5 wins for white. And if not bishop a6, then probably it's anyway bad because we just get knight d6. But still, let's say king to e8. And this is not coming yet. Or is it coming?
Wow.
So bishop d6, knight d6. But there's a b5, sorry, cb5. And I see, what I can see is white is losing some material.
Yeah.
So rook d7 is unfortunately not working, failing to cb5. Then you have to go with this probably. And after take, I can only see these as the threats. This king has not moved yet, right? Or this king has moved before? It
I
has moved,
don't
right?
think
Okay.
so. Oh, maybe if we picture, yeah.
So this is not going to work because the king has moved. So, and you don't like to blunder this pawn, not this one. Yeah, I think it's full of compensation. With probably white winning this because the king is stuck or the rooks cannot connect. So probably this was brilliant. And he got checkmated in the middle of the board. That was crazy.
Well,
And for bishop king b6, we have bishop d4.
yeah, I'm really impressed with that bishop f7 move. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's typical in this kind of Fedora defense. This kind of sacrifice are typical. But calculating it out, especially after king e7, was impressive. Like there were so many variations. Like, I mean, We saw some of them like this, bishop c5, then takes, king f7, 95. Okay, this is not 95, but queen c4 is important. 95 loses, queen c4 is important. You go to e8, bishop e6 loses to 95, 96, so king e8, and then you play 96. Rook descend first to cb5, so you play 96, takes, and still, like the things are not clear. You might try queen a6 here, queen c5 probably, to get the rook, and you lose bishop. So probably it was winning or perfect. But we have breaking news. Ide is down to a minute. I don't understand what he was thinking all the time. Like he takes on d5, I understand, and then he for h3 he's taking 10 minutes. Can you imagine? Like
Yeah, it's odd.
I mean, just
And
take
I did.
here or play rook d7 or just do whatever you like, man. Just take and play bishop e4. Bishop e4 is a blunder, but okay. Do something. Take on c3, take on something, play king f8, or play rook c7, but don't burn too much time. If you do so, then it's not going to be great. For now, I can see take and bishop d3. Wait a second, he didn't go for that. Why? Or just go for bishop d3 at least. He needs to win that pawn. Maybe he thought it will be a draw after knight e5. And bishop b5, we have simply rook b1. And we will get 3 versus 4 in the end. Probably he'll get those pawns. And I don't see how this pawn is exactly getting lost. Okay, there are some tricks like this, but you can ignore them. Probably knight b4, and yeah, we get the same kind of positions. So he goes e6. What do you think, Michael? Who's going to win this?
Mm, kind of. Well, I I think Eddie. I would say 40% chance Eddie wins, 40% chance draw, and maybe 20% chance Thomas wins.
Okay, I would have agreed with you if it had not taken 12 minutes after S3. 12 minutes on the clock, yes, what you're saying is absolutely perfect. But if you take 12 minutes for this move and then you play E6 after 2.5 minutes of thought with 31 seconds on the clock, I think something is not right there in the planning or in the conversion phase. But of course, the position wise, what you said is absolutely correct. But with this little time on the clock, something could be cooked here. You could go G4, Bishop D3, 95, and you can cook something out there. We just need to get 3 versus 4 endgame and it's a draw.
It looks like next up we have Robert Donahue versus Sanjeev Gundalupe.
All right. Tell
Very
us
fun
about
as usual.
Sanjeev. Yeah. Okay, so now we don't get surprised anymore if you see something like this. As long as it's Robert. So there's a line called, guys, this. But when you play Robert, guys, things could be different. You would get more options in your life. Isn't this losing on the spot?
Yeah, just Bishop
Even bishop f7
E8.
check, knight f7. Like as I said, you get thousands of options
Yeah.
to win and one way to lose. As long as you're doing well, you don't lose. This is that one way in which you can lose. And now you're winning, but you need to have some confidence. Okay, he takes it and he wins it. That's it. Also, probably Queen H5 was stronger here, as you get Queen H7 and Queen F7, Knight G6 or whatsoever. But instead, he just went to take the pawn. Now the difference is black defends the check as well as the knight is under attack. It might get trapped in future like this or either ways. And knight G4 threat is also real. So you attack the pawn and you say that knight G4 F3, I win the game. Come on, Robert, just take the pawn and win the knight.
Yeah.
You cannot beat the E5 pawn.
And I
But
think
at least put a trap here. Play king F8, go king G8. If it takes, guys, we just can play this move. And we have a simple
and
tactic here.
yeah, nice. And for like any new viewers, Robert, he used to be fairly close to national master. I think he peaked at like 2180 if I'm not mistaken. So, I think he's just decided, I don't know his exact, style of play, but I think he's just kind of decided over the past year or two to just kind of have fun with chess and play it more not like so seriously, which I mean it's up to him, but it does make for some entertaining games. So I think in some of these positions he knows the best move, but he chooses not to play it just to be fun or whatever. Because obviously, yeah, Queen D5 is just much better than Queen H2.
Maybe he didn't like knight C3 and he has to go back again. But he could play this as well. Anyways, we're here for fun. So Queen S2, Queen E5, and Queen C7. Both players are absolutely what I mean. How can you blunder this? Because it's a mate and Bishop E7 D6. That's sad, Robert. Sad to say this. Wait a second. I mean, why do you give this bishop for nothing? Just take the pawn, man.
Yeah, I have no
I mean,
idea.
just playing some random shit, and you don't take the pawn. I don't understand why. I mean, any problem? Okay, cancel next move. What's the problem? Why you are
Yeah,
giving your bishop for nothing and getting into this? And the most surprising move of the game is the Robert capture this knight instead of sacrificing something like this or this. I don't know. He captured the knight. That's surprising to me. Uh-huh. Sad end. It
yeah.
was quick. Both players finished game in less than half an hour or something like that, and they were up for a classical game, but they played with rapid time control probably. What can I say? Both players had their chances, and Robert played much worse, so on the losing side. Meanwhile, it is just down to 49 seconds with G5. Look what they're doing. White is playing King S2, it is playing G5. No one is interested in capturing pawns and winning games. Only prophylaxis is going on. Still, Vidi has very good chance to win this. So let's go to the another game from open section. Wait, is this open or no? It's from Premier section. We have Joshini Sudhakar versus Steve Johnson, and we have our first Volga Gambit or Benko Gambit.
Mm. Yeah, you don't. I don't feel like you see this much anymore.
Yeah, it's very rare these days because Indian headset. Like, so there's a if there are three lines, you ask engine which he has the most amongst, let's say Benoni, Kings Indian, and Benko. The Benko will be on number one, being hated the most by the engines, then probably the Benoni, and then probably the Kings Indian. Probably these are the only three openings which like in which you do not get equality. All the lines are equal, I believe. Whether it's Kargan, French, any Indians, names are Indian, Queen's Indian, all Indian. Okay, all Indian maybe slight advantage, but yeah, only this openings probably. This Benoni, Banco, and King's Indian not equalizing enough. So Black is playing well, and Black wanted to attack, and that's why he gave a sacrifice. But Joshni Sudhakar dumped with b6 and tried to attack f7, but it didn't work out well. Now White wants to go knight g5, but the question is, will he get enough time? Or I think
Yeah.
Black is just winning this. Like everything is perfect. Pressure here, pressure here, pressure here. C4 is coming. Everything is shut. Things have gone terribly wrong for White. And Queen e8 and you lose, right? Resign, yeah?
Yeah.
You just lose a piece. Then the C4 also comes in. I mean, just resignable. I mean, if you want, you can just checkmate by keeping queens on the board. But Black decided to keep it simple, and White resigned. Very clean game. I'm impressed. Like, this is also very nice. What's the rating of Johnson?
Drew Johnson, he's around 17 to 1750, I believe.
He will increase the rating fast, I believe. He's playing well.
Yeah, he rose
Definitely
pretty
about
quickly to 1700, so I wouldn't be too surprised if he had another rating increase.
yeah. He's easily playing above 1800 level or around 1900 level. Easily. But he needs to work upon his openings because not everyone will play b6. They'll check out the engines and come with this, and he'll get -1. But still, okay, it's a game. Back to which game you would like to go. I think we have seen all the games. Oh, there's one more.
I feel like, yeah, board. I guess we could take a look at board 9, which is Eric versus Kevin. This is the battle for first place in the Open.
Okay, let's go. So Kevin versus Eric. Kevin 621 lost to Galen Eric. How exactly? Let's explore. So we have another king queen pawn opening on the board, and we have some kind of a king's Indian come Grunfeld. Okay, we'll see where the pawn goes in the end. Okay, some kind of a Grunfeld, no Grunfeld, let's call it. And okay, this is equalish. Okay, you play 95 here as white, 94 as a black, or bishop f4, bishop f5, and it's dead equal, like dead equal. But b3 played bishop f5. What's happening? I mean, I don't understand this. Why you go to h4 when you can go to e5? Then I can see the bishop going back. Now there's a queen d7 and you lose a tempo. But no one looks interested. You can at least do this, pull out something. Okay, black says fine. I'm just gonna play simple chess. What was that? What was that? I mean, you're playing on top, but you're gonna be so careless even if it's an open section or amateur section. This is silly. This is good. This is some good stuff. But the commander's curse is real, and you blundered a rook or a full rook by playing knight d3. And you forget that your rook is hanging afterwards.
Yeah.
I think well played by Eric. This reminds me of my game against Sammy in round 2 of the match we played last year,
Mm.
and I was up with one match, and I just needed a draw to win the match, and I just played solid, and it was equally or maybe slightly better for me like this, something like this. It was an action slav, and Sammy blended a rook.
Oh
So this
wow.
reminds me, and the game ended very quickly suddenly. So some similar something like this. He hangs the rook, and here also we see the rook was hanging, and he loses. And okay, he hanged probably more pieces here, but yeah, it was a win for easy win for Eric. Congratulations on winning the open section. So does he get qualified for the premier for the next month?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so good luck there, man. You will get people of your strength there. Prepare well. And Kevin, uh, play some active chess, my friend. You cannot win tournaments by playing like so safe. Use some threats, and you will have more fun next time. Meanwhile, we have an in game where two sides are winning. I don't understand why. So Titus messed up this a bit.
Yeah.
So we left it around here, and probably the easier win was f4 or here f4 right away. And we saw this rook a3, and probably it worked out as Titus went to exchange on pieces. I mean, you can just take on e4. There's just no need to take the bishop. You are simply helping the racing king to win the pawn.
True.
And the racing king concept worked actually. He lost the e4 pawn by force just because he allowed this or he captured here. At least play rook e8 and win this. What is doing? Lack of endgame skills. Giving another pawn. Then giving b6 as well. This is very, very risky. Honestly speaking, you could just go back and be here.
Yeah.
Like there's just no need to play f4 or anything. Like just no need. Absolutely no need. No need. And it goes like this. And now, if he's not careful, he might lose this even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a
And
big
now he has
turnaround.
realized the danger. Now he has realized the danger and he's thinking, but it's too late. But okay, even if he thinks here, I think he'll find a way to draw this. The problem is, let's say, you don't take this because f5 and this is gone. This is just dead lost. There's f6, f7 coming. And as Doretsky says, once two pawn crosses the middle of the board or the pawn reaches 6 and the rook alone cannot stop the pass pawn. For example, you play this and this is g6, you take and g7 and you lose. Okay, you have a check here. Oh wait, and we have this. Because king h6 again, the problem is this. And we need to see this, whether this is a draw or not. This looks like a draw to me. But no. There's a pawn here, right? Okay, it's a draw. No, it's not a draw. Because of the pawn, it's a loss. Because this is coming. And you're
Mm-hmm.
not in time to put. Probably this could be drawn, but okay, this could be drawn with the something like king d4 ideas, and you just wait, and the moment he captures, you just go back. But still, I suspect few things because there's one extra pawn. Wait a second. So let's say you wait patiently, and the problem is you will be forced to. Yeah, it will be a draw. Yeah, it will be a draw. Sorry. Yeah, it will be a draw only. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot do much extra more. But what else? If c1, probably it will transpose to the same line which you were talking about. So, but well, there's a g6 as well, right? We talk about f5, f6, but what about g6? You take it as a g7, and okay, you are lucky again. So probably it draws, or if you blunder, it might win like this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some tricks, probably looking at them, and that is why one should always push this pawn first. And probably the right way to push is probably this. And if your opponent blunders, like we saw now, this line, then you could lose. Probably g6 is the right way. After king into pawn, you can play king g5, and you can hope to win this even.
Yeah.
So it's tricky for sure, and risky at the same time. He has
And
made a move. He
Kyle
took
only
on
has
with it.
4 minutes.
Yeah, but for white, it's nothing to lose. Like he just needs to push the pawns, and I think it's not so difficult to calculate because first, black has to play something. He has to react, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you play c1, okay, nothing to think, just take and push. If he takes, okay, nothing to do much. Okay, he'll play this for sure because now g6 will lead to king into f4, and g7 is this is not looking good. I don't know. So yeah, there's one line trick, king f4, king g7, and now you can make a queen as a black because after take we have the same old pattern. And we need to see whether this is a draw or a win for a black because both pawns are gonna hang. But white should be able to draw this always because white king will just come like this. And it will be a draw, which means Ethan Hunt could be a joint first along with Titus.
Yeah. It's a good point.
The only question is whether g6 or f5. G6 is already drawing the game. Can he try to play for a win with f5? Is the only question remaining. Of course, this is not a good idea. Okay, king f2, rook c1 is there. Or also, I saw one idea. Here, white can play rook c1. So you take on f4, I play g6. You go f5, you play g7, I go king f6, and we have to run with this. But the problem here is he can take, and even you have to make a knight, and you will still lose because the pawns are very, very far. And after queen, you lose this because there is no king g6. So I think for white, by method of elimination, there's only one move, and that is g6, king f4, g7. Yeah, g6 is the move. f5 is possible, and what we witnessed here is some kind of a king f4, right?
Mm, yeah.
No, but king f4 will lead to rook c1, and this will not give you a win. So you have to make a queen, whether you like it or not, but to capture it, whether you like it or not. And now g6 loses to king f4. So you have to play king g6 or f6. So f6 because it gives some threat, or it prevents king f4 at least. And how do you draw this?
Is it white to move here?
Yeah, no, it's black to move here. White just played f6. Okay, probably rook here. So for this, I saw this, but for this, I don't know what to do. Probably go here,
Mm-hmm.
and it works. So you have to go here, and now this works. Sorry, so you play rook c5 there, sorry, in the final position. Oops. Yeah, so you play rook c5, you play f7, you go here, and now this draws. Like you play king g7, takes, king f6 here. I'm not sure about king f6. You have to play probably king somewhere here. He goes here. King g7, king f4, f8, rook f8, king f8. King e4, king e7, king d4, king d6, king c4, king e5, king b3, king d4, and we have a draw. But we witnessed something else. We saw king f4 being played. And this is what he was not supposed to do, right? Now f6. And how he's going to draw this?
Yeah, this is going to be tricky now. Pawns are
This is
fast.
lost. It's not tricky anymore. It's lost. Takes f7. Remains. You don't have rook coming
Yeah, the
back or rook coming.
pawns. Yeah, your king's in the way. Yeah.
The move is this, and okay. There's a small trick, but okay, king f6. This tactics cannot work. I mean, so wait a sec. King f5. What is cooking? Is he cooking something like this? With king f7, and these
Oh, it's a
positions are
draw.
positions. No, it's a win for black. He has cooked some tactical solution.
Don't we just wait though until they move to G pawn, then we can take on F7 or?
Yeah, that's what. So he has cooked something tactically here instead of going
Oh,
for a
okay. You're saying black. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So f6, take. But okay, if he wants, he can always draw this by playing king g6 and g7. I mean, tactics cannot work in favor of black as the position is demanding white chances. So very strange. Let's see what happens. This is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
f6 played.
Makes sense.
Meanwhile, it is once again down to 50 seconds, but now its opponent is also down to 4 minutes. What happened here? Let's see. So we left it around g5, and white decided to save the pawn finally. It said, okay, you cannot really save it. And what? Rook c3. Who plays rook c3? Just take it. 95, and I don't see white winning this. The way it is going, okay, I mean black winning this. Sorry. Uh, Still some chances for black, but it is just not giving enough threats or good threats.
Yeah.
Just randomly moving pieces.
And Thomas has his pieces placed pretty much in their maximal squares, so.
I hope they don't draw like this. I mean, because everything is improved to the maximum, and now none of the pieces could be improved further. Well, there's a bishop d2, bishop b4, bishop d6 maneuver, but it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
Then black may get a pass pawn with take and d4. Though there is something like rook a4 coming in, and rook d7 there's e6. So there are some problems, as you don't have d3 or not rook c2. So this makes it playable. But will Thomas play bishop d2 with little time on the clock? Is the question.
Mm.
Or will he just go h4 or f4 or wait like this?
Yeah.
That is gonna so as Thomas. We have one more game going on this board, but which this game did not finish it. I'm surprised. We saw it was just winning, yeah? With rook b4 and everything. He played rook
Yeah.
b1. After that, he cannot find a win here. Come on. Just take on e6, my friend, and the game ends. We saw this. Instead, oh shit, sorry.
No worries.
Instead, he went on to play. He played 96, and the game didn't end yet.
Yeah, it seems like Black could have
How?
resigned a long time ago, but kept playing on.
He could have checkmated him. I mean, he did not give this check. We discussed this, right? Exactly the same lines. And the king was coming,
Yep.
how the king was coming down. Okay, we discussed with probably one more piece extra because we didn't wanted to capture that. And come on, I mean, we just went for a piece and seriously,
It's a good win for Srijan.
come on, leave the pawn. Wait, is this rook for is this position coming for the third time?
No way. I
Yes,
wonder.
it is a draw by threefold. I mean, by photogenic draw. So this was the first
What?
position. So look. It's very, very funny. This.
Yeah.
Okay, rook on c4. Ah, my bad.
Oh, that'd be
This
insane if it was.
it's almost. This is the first. Okay, it is a draw. This is the first position. He plays rook c2.
I
This is the
wonder if
first
he'll
position,
claim.
and this is the first position. Then this is the second position. Okay, and now he goes to the same position, and this is the third position. Only thing he had to do is claim a draw here before playing rook a4. But probably did not know the photographic or photogenic draw, or he didn't care. And it was a draw. It was a draw. He had to just claim to the arbiter, and it's done.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, you got to be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah. This is crazy. This is crazy. Hey, Mr. Draw, he could have claimed it. So first position. I mean, after rook is the first position because this is where the king stands. Everything has to be on the same square when we click a photo. Let's say first position. Then this is the second position. Second position is after king. Wait a second. He played king f3 here. It's not a draw. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Oh, okay. That would have been odd.
King's on f3. Small change. So this turns out to be the second position because the king was on f3 last time. Bishop d8, rook a3 check. But we are close. King h2, rook f4, and I think he's gonna defend the pawn because he don't want to leave the pawn. This is also funny, man. I don't know which game to we should stick to, but there are lots of drama here. 80 down to 25 seconds, and we have opposite color bishops. I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about this bishop e5 happening, and he played for king g3. I mean, he could have played h5. I mean, he could have waited. He could have done anything but not captured on e5. And now,
Yeah.
why you leave? Why you give free pawns? Is he gonna win this opposite color bishop or what? Okay, is it still a draw because it's out opposite color bishop in game? He
I
can
would
play big
assume
brand,
so. Yeah.
and it will be a draw. But what do you think? Is he gonna defend the pawn or not? Or is he gonna try king
Um,
this time?
I think he'll just take on g5. Hmm.
He defended the pawn, and this is a much better way. You play king c5 and bishop g5, and you win this. So only the interesting game left is now Titus, and it's a draw. So he didn't fall for it. He didn't go g6 because g6 will lead to king f5. And wait a second, g6 is not king g6. What g6 was made, right? Uh,
Yes.
so so king f6 is also a problem with king f5. So he played king g6, no king f5, no nonsense. Wait, why is it going like this? I mean, okay, so he didn't want it to lose like this. Probably that's why he went king e5. forcing him to go king g7. But wait a second, can he go king h7? And then yes, the same problem will be happening and he will lose. So he
Mm-hmm.
has to go king 7 and now it's a draw. Wait, but now how it's a draw? Is he in time? Is he reaching c8? Yeah, he will reach.
Yeah.
And it's a draw, so we will have Titus and Hunt as the joint winners for June Thursday nighter. Crazy. I mean, just crazy games. Oh, sorry. What's happening?
Yeah, they were pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think was that
What?
all? No, we still have
We still have
Eddie and
Eddie,
Thomas.
and this guy playing this Abul Kader Bishop with chances open for all the sides.
Yeah.
Now, Srijan is going to win for sure because he managed to give up the pawn. So, this is going to be still an interesting endgame, I believe, as long as someone is playing for a win. But I don't understand who's that person here. Initially, we thought it's AD, but now Thomas is a pawn up, clear pawn up. I mean,
Yeah. But there still has to be a draw.
yeah, this has to be a draw. But anything's possible. It's the last round.
True.
If it takes it, okay, it's a draw for.
I think yeah, Eddie will take.
Yeah, I think so. So he's getting those pawns, but those are never gonna queen. He's just gonna go like this, and it's a draw. Lots of interesting games, lots of funny things.
Yep.
Okay, he's pushing the pawn now. He's threatening g6, king f6, g7, and probably there's no way to defend. There's just no defense. He needs to get back to the passive defense. That's the only thing I could see. Like c4, g6, you go back g7 and something like this. And the racing
Yeah.
king will start again. And we have a draw on the top board, so it's official now. Titus Andrew and Ethan Hunt are the champions with 3.3.5 out of 4. Probably Kyler gets third place.
Yes, I believe so.
And then there's a Jordan who has won, so he gets fourth, I believe. Then there's a Toffee, and we need to check the tiebreaks and everything. But yeah, he played a very good game here with this Queen C4 idea. And we have Eddie playing his final game of round 4. And it's a draw, the draw. So they might accept draw very soon. Or is there any kind of a king f4 bishop e2? I don't believe, but it is possible if you're careless. King f4 e6, for example. I don't know what to move here as. Okay, if you have to play king f2 probably, but let's just say king f2 bishop c4 or bishop somewhere. You get this king at g2, you get king f4, you get e6, you give here, you get this, you get this, and this. It's still a draw, but you could try this if your opponent gives you a chance. He goes king f2, and the best way is just to stay around here.
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe white also cannot try much because bishop f1, bishop h3 is there. So they will shake hands very soon, I believe.
I think maybe personally my favorite game so far was the Torfy. Just that bishop f7 seemed like a pretty brilliant move on his part. Me and Nubair were even struggling to figure out what the point of that move was, but it turned out to work in his favor.
Yeah.
let's see how did Torphy do this month? So he won against Nathan. That's a great win, national master. Then he drew against Thomas, a former national master, and then he lost against another national
Ethan.
master. Okay, so Torphy's played three national masters, so he was 1.5 against them. So um, pretty good tournament for him.
Yeah.
For some reason, it showed he had a like a half point by the U. When you look at the cross table and it shows the U with the two hyphens or dashes. For
Uh-huh.
some reason, it's showing that, but he played tonight, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so he's just going to play this, and he's offering him a draw by saying staying quiet. Now it's up to the AD to try king f4 or not.
Um, I think he'll just keep moving his bishop. I don't think so.
Yeah, you just keep playing this, and you guys just can make draw.
It must be my style of play, but I pretty much never get opposite color bishop endgames. I guess I never
Hmm.
really get endgames, period.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're too boring for me. The opposite
there's
color
a thing.
bishop, yeah.
Bishop d7, king f. Okay, it's nothing. Yeah, just king f, king g2, and it just draw whatever you do. Okay, you can lose on time, but or else it's just a draw. Are we going
Yeah.
to have the drama? AD losing on time.
I hope not. I doubt it. Did you hear? I guess one final thing before we shut down the stream. Did you hear about the? I mean, it wasn't big news, but there's a player for a national master on chess.com who posted an article about he was playing another, I think an expert, and they were both in time trouble, and it was like I think a rapid game or something, and his opponent had just flagged, but he had like 8 seconds left, and all of a sudden his time like went from 8 seconds to zero, and he lost on time too. It was really weird. Like it was a malfunction in the clock, and he had to call the arbiters over. And eventually they figured it out and refunded him the rating because there was some silly USCF rule here in the states that if
Hmm.
even if your opponent flags first, if you flag on the like following move and you then like the game's a draw, which I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, it was just kind of an interesting situation.
So it happened in an over the board game we were talking about in a USCF game.
It happened in over the board game. I'm not sure if it was classical or rapid. I don't remember.
But it was not rated game, right? It was USCF rated, right?
I think yeah, it was USCF rated. I just don't know if it was USCF like rated rapid or classical.
Uh-huh.
I think
Okay.
classical.
Okay. If none of the, I mean, if both players claim at the same time, or if both are zero, it's draw. That's there, but that's there from long time, even in FIDE, I believe. But usually, I mean, after 2010, FIDE have introduced these digital clocks, which clearly, flag. I mean, marks the flag, and it cannot be zero in two clocks because it just stops. Like once someone is flagged, the clock will be just paused automatically. So you cannot both cannot be get flagged at once. So whenever one guy claims, it's always going to be the person who lost first on the time. So and
Yeah.
although there are some clocks, there are some manufacturers which keep this option of pausing the clock automatically after one gets flags, or uh gr- let the clock run continuously. So it depends
Interesting.
upon the manufacturer and which chess clock we are using. But as long as we are using DGT clocks, which are used in FIDE events or approved by FIDE. I mean, FIDE approves so many clocks, but there's also North American variant of the same. And I think that allows both sides to get flat. But the brown one or the new one with DGT, they don't, that does not allow both sides to get flat. But it depends
Okay.
upon the settings of the script. So if both sides are flat, Yes, it's 0-0. If one side has claimed before, okay, it's going to be win for that side. Or the
Uh-huh.
best situation is, should have a clocks where the clock gets automatically paused when one is flagged. Because it makes
Okay.
no sense for the clock to run once the game has ended, right?
Yeah,
But
it
in
was like
Blitz
a
and Rapid events, sometimes I mean, depends upon the organizer and the clocks they're using.
yeah, it was a very weird anomaly. Um, I'm pulling up the article here.
So it's a draw officially. So we have draw here on Thomas versus Eddie. Meanwhile, Srijan is still struggling to convert this, or he's taking his own time. Let's put it like this,
Yeah,
because he'll
he
know.
must be just taking his time. We can probably wrap up. I'm sure Srijan will win this. He's a good player and he's up a bishop. So I guess as always, guys, make sure to check out the Castle Discord. It's linked in the descriptions for easy access for you there. And then thanks to our sponsors, which are Chess Goals and also Webeccentric. So you can look at everything in the description there. It's empowering small businesses, has over 25 years of experience, excuse me. And you can shop with Webeccentric at their store. And you can see that there as well. There's a lot of cool merch, some Scandi shirts, some mugs, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, you can see the respective discount codes that are listed. And then yeah, check out the Saturday tournament we have coming up, the Monmouth tournament. And yeah, I believe that's it. Once again, congrats to our winners, Ethan and Andrew Titus, on tying for the premiere. And congrats to Eric on winning the open section. And yeah, we will see you all back here for July Thursday Nighter. And any closing words, New Bear?
Yeah. Thank you guys for the joining in. Make sure to check out the store, and congratulations to Ethan, Titus, and Eric for winning the respective sections. See you next week and in the next month's Thursday Nighter. Bye bye. Have a good night.